Alright guys, morning. Like Cody said, my name is Rick DeVore. We're going to be covering several things here this morning. We're going to be going through a little bit of the new 3.0 update we've got, some new things we've got coming out, our seat command and direct command. So first part is going to be presentation based, and once we're done with that, we're going to switch over and go onto the monitor, and I'm going to show you guys some button presses, show you how to create some guidance lines, some boundaries, some just different things on the monitor, basic operation. Okay. Like Cody said, this is very informal. If you guys have a question throughout the meeting, raise your hand, throw something at me, get my attention, ask a question. Don't feel bad about interrupting me. Okay. Am I speaking loud enough for everybody in the back? Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. All right. So to get this started here, like I said, we've got our introduction done. This is actually a different timeline. So we're going to start out with what's new. We'll go through all that on the 3.0 update. We'll take a quick break. Once we're done with the presentation, we'll do button presses. We'll have lunch, and then after lunch, I'm going to be around here till about 2 o'clock, so you guys can have a one-on-one. If I didn't cover something in the presentation, you can flag me down, pick my brain, whatever you want. Okay? All right. So what's new? So first off, we've got Integra firmware 3.0, and we've also got our new Versa monitor. And I'll cover the Versa here in a little bit. Okay, so the 3.0 update. The main changes with this are going to be, obviously we're going to have a new foundation, and with that we're going to come out with two new file types. We're going to have our ag setup file and our ag data file. This is going to change how the monitor works. It's going to change it in a very good way. It's going to make things a lot simpler for you guys. At the same time, we're still going to support most of our legacy file formats. So our pattern files, boundary files, stuff like that, you're still going to be able to utilize with your monitor. We're just going to have a new main way to do it. Okay? So, 3.0, the main things that are new, we got the new file formats that we just covered. We're going to have our OnTrack 2 Plus support, which is our assisted steering. So for those of you that are familiar with our OnTrack 2, it's just going to be a little bit of a step up from the OnTrack 2. We're going to have better prescription read-ins. So in the past with like an IRX file, you were locked into how that IRX file was built, to how you could load it in. Now you've got a lot more flexibility. I can pick one layer out of a 3-channel prescription and load that up across 3 products or 2 products. You're going to have a lot more flexibility with it. Okay? Also, when you're doing an anhydrous application, you load the anhydrous up on the run screen. It's going to default to your controlling unit being in pounds of N. In the past, it was always pounds of NH3. We got a lot of complaints about that. So now it's going to default and control your product in pounds of N. Okay? Also, we're going to be able to change our product units after we've created it. Those of you guys that are a little more experienced with it, if you guys create a product either for application or for planting, and you accidentally set it up in ounces per acre rather than gallons per acre, you can go back and change that. In the past, you had to delete it and create a new one. Alright, our Integra is going to be able to control up to 8 products now. In the past, it was limited to 5 products. The Integra will be able to do 8. The Versa is going to do 3, and the Insight will still do 5. Okay. Your log files. So at the end of a season, when you guys kick out your ag data files, your information that's in the monitor, you're going to be able to export that per grower. So it's going to come in more handy for your custom applicators, custom planting, custom sprayers. You're going to kick out your ILFs, and it's going to be organized in folders per grower. So you're not just going to have a mass of files, you're going to have it organized per grower. Okay. For harvest, calibrations are all going to be done on the run screen. You're not going to have to go back into the wrench, go into your calibration tab anymore. You can do all of that from the run screen in the field. Alright. Another big one is when you load up your configurations, you can disable products and channels when you pull into the field. So say you've got like a 3-product sprayer that's applying 3 products at once. You can disable any of those products when you load it up to the field. So say one field you're going to apply all 3 of them. So you can leave those active. Next field you go to, you're only going to apply one of those products. You can deactivate those other products. It's going to eliminate having multiple configurations in your monitor. So you're not going to have one for a 3 product, one for a 2 product, one for a 1 product. You'll have one configuration, and you can activate and deactivate those when you load up the field. Okay? And the big part that we're pushing with 3.0, it's a new foundation. We had to switch over to this new foundation to be able to go to future features that we're running to implicate on the monitor. So it's a good thing that we've done this. All right. So the initial setup of 3.0, once you have it upgraded, anytime you upgrade the monitor or you clear the internal memory, this is the screen you're going to see. So what this is allowing you to do is set up an operation with more than one monitor. So if you've got a farm that's got a monitor in the planter, one in the combine, one in the sprayer, you're going to be able to carry all that information between all 3 of the monitors much simpler. In the past, we'd build one monitor, our core monitor, create a backup, export that backup to all your other monitors so you have clones. Now what we have the ability to do is designate whether we have a single display on a farm or multiple. So you're going to create a core monitor just like you did in the past, but rather than kicking out a backup, you're going to kick out an ag setup file, and that's going to carry all that information across the monitors. So you're going to have a main one and carry information from monitor to monitor.
Does everybody understand what he's getting at there? So the problem, if I could chime in here, the problem with creating a backup and restoring it on a second display is you wipe out everything in that monitor. So that's in years past, that's what you did. If you wanted to clone a display and have the grower farm field information the same, you took display number 1, you created a backup, and you took it to display number 2, and you restored that backup. When you restore that backup, you wipe out everything in display number 2. Essentially, it becomes display number 1. Well, what Rick is saying here, when we can actually synchronize them together via the USB at this point, meaning all of your grower farm field information, boundaries, products are all the same without duplicating. So we don't wipe out anything, but we bring them up to date. We bring them up to speed. Hopefully that makes more sense.
Yep. Okay, so also from this screen, once you hit the wrench here, you're going to come up to this window, and it's going to allow you to restore a backup if you do need to. Say you had a service unit or something, you can restore your information from your monitor onto the service unit from this point, or in the future you're going to be able to upgrade from this window. Okay, so just like Travis was saying in the past, we would restore backups from one monitor to another. It's going to wipe out information on that secondary monitor. Also, we don't want to do that on our new setups because when you restore those backups, so if I restore a backup from monitor 1 and put it onto monitor 2, when I take the information out of both of those monitors and read it into SMS, it's going to create duplicate information. It's going to create duplicate growers, farms, fields. You're going to have 2 of everything in that SMS. So that's why we're wanting you to use our ag setup file. It's going to realize that this is my core display, this is my secondary display, this is my third display, and it's all got the same information in it, so we don't need to make a duplicate grower for this, we don't need to make a duplicate field. So when you read all that information in there, it's going to synchronize in SMS much simpler than it would with a backup. Okay? Alright, so just to show you guys what the new foundation is going from and what we're building it to. In the past, we used to have ILF files, our MSF files, IBYs for boundaries, our pattern files for guidance. All that information had all of our data on the monitor. And we're combining all of that into our new ag setup and our ag data file. Okay? So our ag setup file. This is replacing your MSF files, which has all your grower farms and fields in it, your boundaries, your patterns, your IRXs, and your references. So we're combining all that into our ag setup. It's going to allow you to synchronize all of the management data, so boundaries, grower farm field, products and mixes, your guidance patterns, boundaries. We're also going to be able to carry over markers and marker sets. In the past, the